What's going on? My name is Naledge, one half of Kids in the Hall. Just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, because we do hard work out here and we often don't get recognized. I have a 7-year-old son, so I mean, being a father, it's been a humbling experience. It's been one of gratification. It's been one of self-discovery, so to speak. My father has always been my best friend. He was always there for me, and so I always had a vision that, you know, whenever I had a son, I would be able to kind of provide some of the same things that my dad gave to me. I always saw him as Superman, so I always kind of aimed to try to curate and create an atmosphere for my child where he would feel like he could do whatever he wanted to do in this world, no matter if that was, you know, driving a dump truck or going to NBA or being a lawyer. Whatever it is you so choose to do, go 100% at it. You know, and one of those things that really gives you a rush is when you see your child start to become passionate about certain things or pick up certain things on their own. And my son, it's funny because he's very inquisitive. He asks a lot of questions, and that's something I never did when I was in school. I always felt like I had the answer and I just would move with it, whereas my son asks a lot of questions, and I feel like it's good because it builds rapport between us. It allows us to kind of, you know, have our little conversations, and I feel like I'm teaching him how to become a man one day and how to survive in this world, because I think that's critical. I think, you know, from those formative years, especially as a black man in America, you know, to have a role model that's a little adjacent to you is one thing, but to have somebody that you know is like of you, of the same blood, and, you know, is always going to be there for you, share the same last name, share a lot of the same genetics, you know, it gives you a different sort of feel. You know, it's a very interesting thing. I mentor a lot of youth just in what I do on my own with the Brainiac Project. And as many youth as I work with, it never gets tiresome to actually work with my own son and to see his improvements and to see, you know, every little thing that develops about him that makes him an individual. So that's really cool. It's been really cool. I mean, a lot of people know me as a musician or, you know, somebody who's a scholar and whatnot, but, you know, one of the most gratifying experiences I've had with my son thus far was when he actually picked up one of my old baseball bats, because I used to play college baseball, so that was like, to me, like such a big deal. Like the minute he picked up a baseball bat, I like went and got a flip camera, and like he was 2 years old and he started like pretending to swing. I had taken him to the batting cages one time and he was sitting there with his grandmother, and I guess he had saw me swinging, or I don't know how, he just started trying to copy and mimic the swing that he saw me do at the batting cage, and I swear I never been happier in my whole life. That was like one of the greatest experiences I ever had being a father, and it's real interesting when your kids pick up things naturally that you used to do. You know, being a man, often you want to have a son, and when you find out you're going to have a child, you don't necessarily know if it's going to be a boy or a girl until a certain point. So it was just, I lucked out, you know. I feel like I ended up with the long side of the stick. I ain't get the short end of the stick. My son is going to enjoy it. You know, fatherhood is one of those things that, you know, whether it comes out of a marriage or comes out of a situation that's unexpected, you know, it's always going to teach you something. It's always going to be something. It's always going to be a learning process, and it's a lifelong learning process. You know, you're forever that person's parent. So it's a crazy thing to think about it. But I think a lot of times fathers aren't acknowledged enough as far as the pivotal role that they do play in child development and formative years. I mean, having a mother is wonderful, but I see so many young single mothers out here, a lot of which I worked with when I was in school doing some of my field work and helping with different agencies in Chicago. And I saw that a lot of the issues that were affecting some of my clients weren't necessarily the disorders that these kids were being diagnosed with. A lot of it has to do with the system, the family system being broken down. So, you know, even though marriage isn't at an all-time high, I feel like fatherhood can still receive a boost, you know. And that's something I've always tried to inject into my life and inject into, you know, all of my work. You know, that's really what it is.